So, Zeke, there's a variety of NBA trades that took place at the deadline this past week. And I think that there's two main ones that we have to dissect in the show today.
Mm-hmm.
So let's first begin with Andrew Wiggins going to the Golden State Warriors, and D'Angelo Russell going to Minnesota. What's your take on that?
Well, I know as you being a Warriors fan, this is a big deal to you. I think it was pretty obvious that when they took on D'Angelo Russell and took on that contract, I think we all knew really what their long-term goal was with that. It was a trading piece down the line. I mean, obviously, they're having them because Curry and Clay aren't playing. So, Curry was at the beginning of the year, but either way, it wasn't going to work out. You're not going to have all three of them paying them all big amounts of money. It's just not going to work. There's no point. So, ultimately, I think this is going to be beneficial for the Warriors. Now, what I like is how the Warriors attacked draft picks. You know, it's going to be hard to keep everybody with contract-wise. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously everybody wants to get paid. And you got to have a future. Best future you can possibly have. Stock up on draft picks while you can. And honestly, apparently from what the Warriors say, Russell wasn't really bringing good energy into the building.
No, and I could tell that on the court. The chemistry was definitely distorted. So.
Right. I mean, he had a couple good games. Don't get me wrong. He had a couple of games. I mean, the kid's a good talent. But ultimately, I think Wiggins, who had to face a lot of pressure on a team that isn't usually that good in Minnesota, you know, being the number one pick, being so, you know, highly looked after. It's a lot of pressure.
Oh, it is.
Especially in a market like that where you're not going to get a lot of guys to play with you. So I think a fresh start in a good organization like that is going to be really good for Andrew Wiggins. And I think that he could bring some really good things to Golden State.
I think it is a mutually beneficial trade because think about the compliment to the Warriors that Andrew Wiggins is. They needed a big man. You needed somebody to fill the void of Kevin Durant. Now, I'm not insinuating in any way that Andrew Wiggins is anything close to the caliber that Kevin Durant is, but he will fulfill that role of being a big man and then facilitating the game plan with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And right now, as we talk about this year, there's a lot of parity in the NBA. When you look at its landscape, I mean, there's no clear-cut front runner. There's no dominant force like the Warriors were, like the Miami Heat were, like the Celtics and the Lakers. You don't have that right now. I can't say I don't have complete trust in any team in the NBA, from the Clippers to the Bucks to the Lakers to the Celtics. I don't have complete trust in anybody. Yeah. I think that next year, Steph Curry returns, Klay Thompson returns. I've been saying it all along. The dynasty is going to reboot. It's round 2. It happened with these guys right here. There was round 2. You had 2000 through 2004, where they accumulated 3 Super Bowls, and then you had 2014, 2016, and 2018, where the Patriots captured 3 Super Bowls. So I think that the Warriors are following a similar track. Now let's shift to the Timberwolves. It's going to benefit them. Absolutely. Because it's what both teams needed. The Timberwolves had a surplus of big men. They had too many. They had Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. And you see how that can unfold on the court. It's not as efficient as when you have somebody like D'Angelo Russell. You can pass the ball to, hit a 3. You realistically need one big man. Yeah. And they have that in Cat, so that's now being fulfilled.
Well, eventually, it's one of those things where, like, you've tried it for so long now, it hasn't worked. It doesn't look like it's going to work. So you have to move on. You have to change. You have to evolve. And something that Minnesota's lacked for a long time was a point guard, a good, solid point guard, which D'Angelo Russell can be. Also, Karl Anthony Towns is very unhappy with the fact that, you know, he didn't have a point guard. He didn't have someone up top.
Oh.
So this is going to also make him even happier and want to stay there even more, which is going to be more beneficial to them. Granted, I like Karl Anthony Towns, but when it comes to big-time games, he's not the best.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. But I think for both sides, I think this was a good trade. I mean, this is also D'Angelo Russell going to Minnesota has been talked about for a while now. It's been a while since it's been brought up. So I'm happy that it's done. I want to say Minnesota's a team I kind of root for low key because
I like their uniforms. I like Minnesota.
I don't have anything against Minnesota. So, overall, that's a good trade. Now, let's talk about the Miami Heat and the moves they were making. What do you think?
This one I'm not as much in favor of because, what I'm discouraged about is that they traded Justice Winslow. So now they're losing their size. They're losing their length that they had before. Mm-hmm. That was his role, and they now trade that away. And Iguodala is a great situational player, especially in the playoffs. You get Iguodala off the bench, that's very beneficial for your team. I mean, look, he was the Finals MVP in 2015 for the Warriors, so he's incredible in high pressure situations. So I would say that it would be a favorable trade if they didn't have to trade away Justice Winslow.
They also traded away Dion Waiters.
Dion Waiters, he had an edible on an airplane, but we'll touch on that after. They traded away their big man. I was not big on that, but who's really going to benefit is Memphis. Because they are a young, flourishing, fermenting team right now. And I think that it was in their best interest. And I support both parties. Andre Iguodala felt sort of misplaced. He was out of his place. He didn't really mold with their identity.
He never wanted to be there.
He never wanted to be there to begin with. And they're a young, uprising team. They're all gelling together. And he's the one veteran who has finals experience. He doesn't necessarily want to be essentially raising children.
Right.
So he would rather go to Miami where he gets a legitimate chance to return back to the finals again.
Dude, Miami, with getting him, Jay Crowder,
yeah.
I mean, I really wish they would have finished that Gallinari trade because I felt like that really would have been a nice addition.
Yeah.
But Miami looks solid. I mean, they played good all year, man. I give a lot of credit to Miami. I think,
yes.
Yet again, that was another thing where Memphis, they brought in Iggy and they knew what the long-term goal was to trade him down the line. They knew that. So I get where John Morant was coming from and all that, but at the end of the day, he was never coming there to play anyway, so it doesn't matter. I think this is another trade. Personally, I think that it was beneficial for both sides. Memphis has to do what they got to do. Miami's got to do what they feel like they got to do, because Jimmy Butler's leading them in a pretty good direction. I'm not very high on Jimmy Butler myself, as in terms of a captain role, because he's got a little too big of an ego. Yeah. But I like the trade personally. So
now, what I think is very intriguing about this move is that both teams, I think that you can argue that they're the two teams with the most surprising storylines in all of the NBA this year. Who would have ever expected the Miami Heat to be the clear number 2 seed? Like there's a cliff. There's a wide gap between 2 and 3.
They're definitely better than Philly. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, and they've proved it on a national stage several times this year.
I think Philly's a joke, personally.
Oh, they're very dysfunctional. We'll dive into that in a later episode. I do want to focus on Miami here. It's been a very surprising storyline, and the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean. But both teams are early on their curve. They're climbing earlier than expected, and for that I commend them. I wasn't expecting to see these results of Memphis for the next year or two. I think they have the potential to land the 8th or the 7th, maybe even the 6th seed in the Western Conference.
We'll see.
And Miami will probably secure that 2nd seed.
We'll see. Although the trade deadline, it was definitely exciting. A lot of movement going on. I think they said one of the more active trade deadlines in recent history, so
it was very entertaining.
I'm happy with it. I'm mad that the Lakers didn't make a move, but some people don't think we need to. I think we desperately need to.
You'll go next year, champ.
Yeah. So anyway, that's how I feel about the trade deadline. I think it was good. It was exciting. I like the trades that went down. I think they were good placements, and it doesn't matter because they're still bringing home the chip anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video once again today. Great job today, Zeke. I thought we had some great insight, both of us.
Yes, sir.
Now, I do want to state here, we're just because of the lack of storylines here in February, I think we can both agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the most interesting thing going on right now is the XFL.
Yeah.
And college basketball, which doesn't really progress until March. So we're going to take about 2 weeks off here of the EasyCast. Just sit back, reflect on our first full season
Who knows?
Of football.
Who knows? Maybe we'll even take a trip to Miami. Who knows?
Well, you don't want to put that much pressure on us yet. Not yet. That's coming in the future, but not yet. What we are doing, though, in these 2 weeks, is we're going to be launching our podcast with you, me, Sean Buff, potentially Jeremiah Todman in there. I don't know if John Bissett will want to be in an episode here in the future. It'll be titled "Shooting the Shit." The topic of our first episode. A lot of shit. We're going to be shooting some shit. It's going to be very unfiltered.
Absolutely. So, if y'all don't tune in, I'm going to come and break your legs. Let's keep that on. Let's keep that out there. Go ahead. Say what you got to say.
There's going to be a lot of New York accents here, as you can always see with Zeke. We're somewhat filtered here. We've sworn in this show before, but it'll be more potent in our podcast.
Believe it.
We're going to have in-depth, somewhat controversial topics, so it'll be very intriguing for you guys to tune in. I guarantee your entertainment. I guarantee you will feel more positive at the end, and you will leave laughing and with more knowledge than you had before.
Absolutely. So yet again, we appreciate you, and we thank you. You filthy animal.